what do you think about the
All
Spurs?
that, yeah.
Spurs getting the number one pick.
I'll kind of give it like a little rundown. Like, so the draft lottery was what? It was a few weeks ago, I think, like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks.
2 weeks ago,
yeah.
So like that.
It's a big deal, honestly, because this year it's Victor Wembanyama's year.
Yeah.
And he's kind of the unicorn. He's one of the top rated prospects in the world. Honestly, he's the top rated.
Yeah,
prospect.
people are saying that this is like probably one of the best prospects since LeBron. Enjoy these hoops, man.
Yeah.
Like, y'all are witnessing history right now with all these playoff performances lately.
And
for real.
like I said earlier, it's like try to catch a game in a different way, man. If you in the car, listen on the radio. Like you don't always got to watch to catch the game. So like there's a little way you can play with your imagination. So.
We busy, 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 we busy. That bitch so pretty, got a mean girl just like Lindsay. Said she fucking with me, making drives across the city. Swear this shit can get too litty. Pushing be like Diddy, you ain't B-boy, who you kidding? At the top, I see you there. In LA, I see you there. At the space, I see you there. Texas State, I see you there. I know y'all go crazy, y'all be turning up in the square. Take another pill and we get turned up just by anywhere. Hit you in and say yeah, just to see if there's some feelings there.
Yo, what's up, guys? We back with 3-Man Weave. It's with my boy CJ.
Yes, sir.
What's up, CJ?
How you doing, bro?
Yeah, we back with episode 2. I was just thinking we're gonna get right into it.
Let's get it. Oh yeah, shout out to everyone. Thank you for watching it. It actually just dropped today. Usually we'd want to have them out on Sundays.
Yeah, but it was just that intro video.
Yeah, I like kind of fell asleep and shit. So just edited it a little later than what I wanted to. I mean, I'm just gonna be straight up with y'all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I ended up getting it done like this morning, and I wanted everything to be posted. So just ended up working out because we usually post on Mondays anyways. But everyone got like a 3-Man Weave little surprise, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it was cool just to post that, and it's doing really well right now, you know what I mean? So we decided to run it back, and like I said, thank y'all for listening and watching it. We appreciate all the comments, you know what I mean? Like, you know, question us on our takes, you know?
Yeah,
like,
bro.
Like, do we really know ball like that? You know, let us know.
Like, drop
know?
it in the comments. Like, ask us some questions,
Ask us some questions, and then I also posted on PCT IG if they any fan questions and stuff, so that'll probably be later on in the video.
Like
but yeah, welcome back to another episode of 3-Man Weave.
Episode 2, man. It's 3-Man Weave.
And yeah, like I think like you said, we could just get right into it. Yeah, I think you lead it off.
For sure. Yeah, I'll get it started. Yeah, so I mean, we're starting with the now. It's Game 7, man. I would say like Game 7s are like super important. It's Boston versus Miami. It's a big deal, man. It's one of the like I would say it's one of the more like historic Game 7s in recent memory, just because I mean obviously the Heat were up 3-0. If y'all don't know, I was kind of talking mess on the last episode about the Celtics.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Heat were up 3-0 basically, and the Celtics have won 3 straight.
Yeah.
So now we get a nice little Game 7 that honestly is about to start as we're doing this pod. So
yeah, we have it on in the background right now. So you know, if we have any reactions or anything, it'll kind of be a live.
It'll be live.
Yeah, it's like we're streaming and stuff, so it's dope.
Yep.
But yeah, Game 7 of a big series and determines who's it says a lot about the Heat, and it's gonna say a lot about the Celtics
for
you
sure.
Know what I mean, and I feel like you being a Laker fan, you kind of are always kind of rooting against some.
Yeah, I'm a Celtic hater for sure, man. If you're a Lakers fan, like you can't really, I don't know how to say this, but if you're like a diehard Lakers fan, like you can't support the C's at all. So like you know who I'm going for. I'm going for the Heat, but I guess I'll kind of get right into it, man. Like
talk about it.
Yeah, I mean honestly, I was gonna ask you like, who do you think is gonna win this game? Because it hasn't started yet, and we're kind of just watching like the warm-ups right now, getting a vibe for it. So what you think?
Man, I really think like Miami just barely lost this past game, but I feel like it just like probably hit them a little bit differently, and like the momentum kind of shifted, and I just feel like I don't know, I feel like Boston's gonna take this game, but like I wouldn't be surprised if Miami ends up pulling through, but it's definitely gonna be like a battle.
Yeah,
you know
for
what
sure.
I mean? Like it might go to like
100.
OT type shit if that's the case, but Yeah, I don't know. Like, I really think the C's are gonna get it done.
You think the Celtics gonna win?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay,
I feel like they
sure.
got to this point.
Honestly, and this is coming from a Lakers fan, bro. I think the Celtics are probably gonna win too. Even though I would like to see the Heat, obviously pull out that W. But I kind of agree with you. Like, they've already got themselves in this spot, and like they've done such a good job over these last 3 games. Like, since the pod we had recorded, they've kind of changed the way that they've been hooping, and they've been getting the best of Miami, bro. So we're really about to see, like you said, like a true battle. So I'm excited, but I mean, I think the Celtics are probably gonna pull through just because they seem like they have the momentum right now. So
same.
that's what I'm pulling with.
That's how I'm feeling as well.
Yeah, but I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see it. I think Jimmy Butler. Like, I feel like he's still underrated every year, man. And this isn't really more about the Celtics. This is kind of about the Heat. Like, I think for them to even be in this spot, it says a lot about their culture too, because they were an 8 seed, and obviously the Celtics are a 2 seed. So for them to be up 3-0 kind of says a lot about the Heat too. Kind of like to go off of what I was saying last time. Yeah. It's like that Heat culture, man. It's something serious. So
yeah, bro.
I want to give my flowers to Jimmy Butler. Like, win or lose today, like that man's been going crazy. So yeah, bro.
Yeah, shout out to Jimmy, bro. Like, who would have thought 8 seed, making all the way to the conference finals, beating Giannis and the Bucks, who've been dominant all season just because they have Giannis, really. And then their bench or their role players were going crazy. And then you see the Miami Heat being in the play-in. They end up winning. And
no, for sure. Yeah, they've come from like the bottom, literally, bro.
It's crazy, but
you think if the Celtics lose, though, do you think Joe Mazzulla is going to be fired? Because I think so.
Yeah, I feel like the way like the league is nowadays, like I feel like they're
gonna get rid of him.
Yeah, chop him.
Basically, I mean, to kind of go into what I was gonna say next, I feel like this is kind of what I was saying earlier in the pod. It was like it's one of like the more historical Game 7s that we've had in a few years. Because I would just say like a lot of people's legacies are on the line tonight. Like I feel like, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown's kind of like cohesiveness has been a little bit shaky, or at least in reports and stuff like that. So we'll see kind of how this game plays out, because I feel like that'll kind of be like a telling tale, like what happens with them in the future, kind of like how this game plays out. And then obviously with Jimmy Butler's career, like if he can get to another finals, that would be a big deal. But if he comes up short from 3-0, that kind of again, because he's a loud mouth, so he's been talking like this entire time. So that would kind of, I feel like that wouldn't really sit too well with some casual NBA fans. So we'll see. I feel like there's a lot of legacies on the line tonight, man, for sure.
Yeah. What is the what do you think is going to be the deciding factor for this Game 7?
I feel like it's going to be, for the Celtics, it would be Derek White, like for a player, I guess. Because like I'm not gonna lie, in a Game 7, like. You guys have already played like this, like those two opponents have already played so much that there's not really that many adjustments that you can make, honestly. So it's coming down to like how the players play individually, like on a night-to-night basis. It's really like that. And I feel like we didn't really talk about how they won Game 6.
Yeah.
But that's kind of why I bring up Derek White, is like he was the one who made that game winner. But besides that, he's been playing like really, really, really good defense against Jimmy Butler, and he's been locking down, and he's just been playing really well. I think he's been the X factor like all series. So I just feel like if the Celtics are gonna win, it's gonna be because of him, honestly.
Yeah, just like
like for a player,
dropping,
I guess.
Like 25 or just him just playing good. Like,
just being around the court, man. Like, because honestly, bro, like you don't have to drop 40 to like impact the game or anything. Derek White's a pretty good example of that. Like he can get his 12, 14 points, get a few assists, get a few steals. Like that's that's a
get
pretty
like
good
a
game.
Critical stop at
bro. You know what I mean? And like I said, like he got that tip in, like because he was hustling, like doing the little things. I think that's really important. So like for a player kind of X factor, like that's who I go with for the season. And probably for the Heat, bro. I mean, it's Jimmy, bro. Yeah. Because like the last few games, like he hasn't really shown up, bro. And we haven't really talked about it like off the pod, but like I just feel kind of like Jimmy, the last 2 games especially, like he's kind of been struggling, man. Like I think he was 4 of 20 like last game, even though he got those 3 free throws to like go ahead by 1, so they, Derek White couldn't even get that buzzer beater. But yeah, he's been struggling, but he's gonna have to show up today, man.
I think he's just gassed, bro. And
he's exhausted.
It's kind of what we've been talking about in other or like the first podcast. Like like everyone is at this point
for sure.
I feel like when he is that guy, you know what I mean. He has these players that are stepping up, but like look at the C's depth, bro. Like it's kind of ridiculous.
It is, bro.
Like
it's
there's no reason, like realistically, why this game should have even gotten to Game 7.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like
right.
Boston should have took care of business, but like like we were saying,
They were
Jimmy
messing
Butler.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
Jimmy
know,
Butler.
just so. But like on paper, the C's like this is what like they should have been doing.
Yeah,
realistically,
CJ's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I guess I didn't think about that till you brought it up, bro. But like, because again, I'm a Lakers fan. Like,
Yeah.
I try to like get away from the Celtics. But
Nah, I know
like
what you
you're
mean.
right. Like they are dominant. They
Yeah.
have been all year, and they have been for a few years. Honestly,
Bro,
now
since, like,
So,
2017,
Yeah,
really.
they should be competing. Honestly,
Yeah.
like to your point, I feel like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have kind of been a lot better over the last 3 games, just playing
Yeah.
like together and kind of
Yeah.
like I feel like Jaylen Brown's done a good job of like taking a back seat. I think at times where like he doesn't have to get a 40 ball. Like right now, I think he's kind of letting Tatum kind of dictate kind of what they're doing. And I honestly think that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Jason Tatum's like, 6'10", just combo forward,
Ridiculous.
crazy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Ridiculous. So like, I feel like they're just playing to their strengths right now. And like I said, I keep saying it, I'm a Celtics hater, but like I still feel like they're gonna get this game 7. So we're gonna see, man. We're gonna see.
We'll
It's gonna be exciting.
Definitely.
For
I mean,
sure.
y'all will know by the time this comes out because this won't be out till Sunday. So
Yeah, exactly. At the
you
end of
already
the week.
know.
Yeah, for
we
sure.
already know who's in the finals. So by that point, but I
Yeah,
guess
bro.
so. Was there anything else you had to say about this game 7? Or you want to segue into a
man.
different segment? Or?
We'll have to see. Honestly, I feel like it's gonna be good, bro. Like one of the better ones that have happened in this playoffs, but also just in history. Because like the fact that like a team has even came back from 3-0 and they're here now, just it's crazy. So I'm just ready to witness history, man. That's kind of my last remarks. Like we can go into a new thing, but I think it's gonna be crazy.
Oh yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I was gonna say we can go into the draft. We can go into the. I know you had a question earlier.
Yeah, let's go into the draft because that is something that we like kind
kinda
of skipped
skipped
over.
over.
You know, yes.
Yeah, we didn't bring
the
that up, but
yeah, I mean, and that's kind of like expected when like it's an intro podcast, so we just wanted to like show y'all who we are and kind of like
Exactly.
the teams that we rock with, kind of our personality, and like
Exactly.
obviously y'all will start to learn it even more
Right,
once
as we consistently
just
drop
keep
videos.
going. So, but so this we didn't even think about talking about the draft because of the playoffs is like a recap. So I guess going into that, what do you think about the
all of
Spurs?
that? Yeah,
Spurs getting the number one pick.
I'll kind of give it like a little rundown. Like, so the draft lottery was what? It was a few weeks ago, I think, like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks.
2
now?
weeks ago,
Yeah,
something
so
like that.
it's a big deal, honestly, because
Yeah.
this year it's Victor Wembanyama's year.
Yeah.
And he's kind of the unicorn. He's one of the top rated prospects in the world. Honestly, he's the top rated.
Yeah, people are
prospect.
saying that this is like probably one of the best prospects since LeBron.
Yeah, so like a little backstory, like for you guys, like
Yeah.
he's from France.
He's like 7'4".
Yeah, he's
He
like
has a
7'3". Like he's just
he's
crazy.
like a KD, like
Demigod,
handle,
like-
like and he could shoot and he's
Yeah.
good at defense.
Super
so.
good. So that draft lottery had like if you got the number 1 pick, like you got the
That's-
right to pick him.
Yeah, I guess so.
So that's why it's
Going
so-
into that a little bit more, then like, what do you think about that? Like, because that was something as I was watching it, I was like, man,
thinking about?
it's so crazy to me that like, oh, this is the Victor Wembanyama lottery,
Like sweepstakes.
like
yeah.
sweepstakes. Like
Yeah, hell
they
yeah.
weren't even like thinking about anybody else. Like,
So I think that's interesting that you bring that up because there are some good other prospects and we'll kind of talk to them and I'm sure we can kind of pull it up here on the laptop. But like there's Scoot Henderson and like
Yeah.
the Thompson twins and so like
Brandon Miller.
because Brandon Miller. So when I was watching, I kind of thought about that too. I was like, I think it's kind of like crazy how like every announcer and everybody in the room kind of just wants Victor Wembanyama. Like regardless, like nobody's gonna be like, no, I don't want Victor Wembanyama. I'd rather have Scoot Henderson. Like nobody in their right mind saying that. So all those executives in that room are hoping to get that number 1 pick. So that's kind of like a little backstory of kind of like why this draft lottery is super
it's so
important.
crazy, yeah, because like this is like a generational talent is like what everyone's thinking.
Yeah, like
You know
it's
what I
gonna
mean?
be
So-
like another like just superstar. So that's kind of what it was. But anyway, so yeah, like I think so basically they had the draft lottery and obviously I think it's it's like top 14 teams.
Yeah, so the lottery is a top 14 teams.
Yeah, so like they have like the little ping pong balls and basically like the way that the NBA works for people who are like casual watchers, like basically if a team sucks, if they have a bad record in the East or West, they get more ping pong balls in the little bucket that they choose from in the draft lottery because that means that you have a higher chance of getting a better pick essentially. So the commissioner will draw from this pool of ping pong balls and essentially that's kind of like the lottery, that luck part of it. because he's picking randomly. So that's kind of another thing. But yeah, I kind of want to hop into. I think we should kind of like start with the cake, and then kind of go back from there. So the Spurs won the #1 pick. So they're probably going to take Victor Wembanyama. What do you think about that? What did you think when you saw that?
So I low key called
how that made you feel. Yeah,
I called it like literally. So shout out to Carlos. You know what I mean? He's a big Spurs fan, and I literally told him that this is it's gonna play out for you, Carlos. He hasn't really been keeping up with Spurs basketball and stuff because they haven't been the greatest. And ever since like COVID hit and stuff like that. But I told him, I'm like, you're gonna get the #1 overall pick. Y'all are gonna draft Victor Wembanyama, and y'all are gonna go back to being how you were in the 90s, 2000s, and 2010s. Just
the OG Spurs,
based off of like
the
his
winning
potential
Spurs.
alone. Like that is like what I'm getting from him. And like it's dope that he went there because the Spurs are such an organization where like I can pretty much trust them drafting anybody, and they're gonna
and they're gonna pump out a good prospect. For sure.
And like the fact that the last time they had a #1 overall pick was Tim Duncan is insane. You know what I mean? Man. Like they have consistently had generational big men, 80s, 90s, and now the 2020s. So it's dope. I mean, don't get me wrong, I fucking hate the Spurs, but that's just out of being a Thunder fan and out of those wars and battles during those playoffs, early 2010s, mid 2010s, Westbrook, KD, Hart. Like, it was and especially because like, we live in Austin, which like doesn't have a basketball team, so people are gonna root for whatever's in Texas, and majority of them are like San Antonio fans and Dallas fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
for
it's
sure.
like, bro, like
I basically, I mean, like what
I can't stand them, but I respect them.
Yeah,
like that's
for sure.
my relationship.
And they're gonna
with
pump
the
out a
Spurs.
good prospect. Like you can't deny like their player development essentially
at all.
So they've always been historically good at that.
I think that's a great spot for him, and he's probably gonna be a star.
No, yeah, for sure.
That's my prediction.
Yeah, like I'm right there with you, man. I feel when I saw that, I was it was kind of like nostalgic, bro. I don't know if that like makes sense, but I feel like it was kind of like, oh, this is the Spurs player. Like they got one with Tim Duncan and David Robinson. Like it's gonna change it's gonna change their franchise and like bring them all the stuff that they need. So I thought that was really cool. But I also wanted to ask you about the other teams that were behind them. So we're gonna talk about the top 3. Keep the segment like short, but because there's 14 teams, there's a lot. And if you guys really want to, you guys can check out.
You can check it out.
Like the full one. But the second pick's the Hornets. So how do you feel for them and kind of like being that close to getting a generational player, and now they're gonna have to kind of pick from the I guess the second
the scraps.
Yeah, I guess the scrap from Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, like I don't think like there's scraps. Like I definitely think that there's gonna be some good talent. Like this draft is low key kind of like overshadowed by Victor Wembanyama. I feel like there's a lot of good players that are coming out.
Yeah, like we were talking about.
Like
earlier.
exactly. So
Scoot, Thompson twins.
I think personally, I think we kind of talked about it off camera, but I think the Hornets should draft Brandon Miller. Honestly, I feel like that's kind of a perfect.
Why do you think that is?
Just because like he's like a good he's like a
combo
3,
forward.
right?
Yeah,
combo
forward.
He plays good defense. He's a good shot and like
and
like obviously like depending on what you're like. What type of play style you want? Because I know you were saying you kind of like the uber athletic guards and stuff, and that's what Scoot,
the hyper elite.
Yeah, that's what Scoot Henderson is, and like
for sure.
I just feel like for the Hornets, like they already have a great guard already, and LaMelo, so it's like I don't think getting
like another guard would be super smart.
And then I think Brandon Miller, just like I said, just a better fit.
I can see that.
Like he'll probably be a great like 3-and-D and like maybe even like could control like a Mikal Bridges type.
Yeah, but I honestly think they're gonna do that. Yeah, like I think you're calling it, bro. I think like a GM, like if you ask obviously like MJ kind of what they're thinking and kind of what they're doing over in Charlotte, I feel like they're trying to build kind of like because they know they have LaMelo for sure, and he's already proven that he's like an all-star, like that he's a certified bucket. There's no way you can't tell me LaMelo Ball isn't that guy. Yeah, so absolutely. Like basically I feel like they're gonna kind of go with Brandon Miller. They kind of have to. I feel like he's that combo forward they're looking for. It's a nice piece with Bridges. So
Bridges
like,
and
yeah,
LaMelo.
yeah, and LaMelo,
You know,
and
what I
like
mean?
Mark Williams, a few other players.
Don't they have Terry Rozier still?
Yeah, they got Scary Terry on there
So
for
you
sure.
know, coming off
yeah.
the bench, you know, so
Yeah, for sure. So the Hornets are still in a good
yeah,
spot.
good
you know?
spot, man. It's not like
If you're a
obviously-
Hornets fan, it's
yeah, obviously you would want that
it's
number
probably
one.
tough.
Everyone wants that number one pick,
Yeah.
realistically. But I mean, there's still, if y'all have like a good drafting, like scouts and shit, like there's good talent in this draft, and I think
100%.
they're good plug and play type players. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So
And then this last one, we'll kind of talk about Portland.
Portland. So
Yes.
this one that we're looking at right now, NBADraft.net, 2023 mock draft. They have Portland with the number 3 pick taking Scoot Henderson. What do you think about that?
I think that's how it's gonna go. I think the top 3 will go in order.
Really?
Yeah. Like I feel like Brandon Miller's moved up those draft boards, so like
Yeah.
he's kind of been on second. I think he's second on ESPN's mock.
Yeah.
Too. So he's been moving up the ranks like past.
I think it's just
Scoot.
the way he plays.
Well, I think it's like what you were saying earlier, just the combo forward. He kind of reminds me of Jabari Smith Jr.
Really?
Like just the 6'8", 6'9", can shoot, can definitely play
Jabari
defense.
was hooping like that. I wasn't really watching the
Yeah,
Rockets
bro,
this
like
year,
he
I'm
was
not gonna
hooping
lie.
like that at Auburn, bro. Like
Yeah.
he had a strap on him for sure.
Yeah.
So he kind of reminds me of that Brandon Miller prototype. But
Okay.
I think Scoot is gonna fit well on the Blazers. I feel like Dame again, like Dame deserves so much more in Portland. So I feel like if they were able to get Scoot like another like hyper athletic, guard, and it's somebody like Dame's never really played with. I mean, he had McCollum, but he wasn't no hyper athlete.
You don't think like that's just like too much guard play though? Because
I-
they have Scoot. If they draft Scoot,
They have
Scoot,
Simons, yeah.
Dame, Simons, Shade and Sharp,
He's
right?
sharp, yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna be honest,
That's
bro.
four guards.
I think guards, and I think Jokic has changed this now a little bit in Embiid, but like guards still rule the NBA.
Yeah.
I would say like forwards and guards right now are what like teams really need. Like they want a small forward or like a shooting guard, point guard who's just dropping buckets and getting buckets. So I feel like, they might be a little guard heavy at first. I'm sure they can, develop some bigs. Like they got Greg Brown on there. Shout out Greg Brownie from Austin, Texas.
Oh, word?
Yeah, he's on the Blazers for sure.
Shit.
Yeah. So, got to
know
give a
that
shout
shit.
out to
Yeah,
him.
shout
But
out.
yeah, I mean, I feel like they can get some bigs still, even if they drafted Scoot. I don't think taking Scoot would hurt them, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
What about you? What
I
you
don't
think
know.
about
I
it?
think I don't like. I feel like Portland is in such a weird spot right now. Like you've had Dame there, and like he's obviously wants to stay with y'all, so he's not gonna leave. But like you have yet to pair him up with someone that is like an actual like stud, besides McCollum and like. And we go back to obviously that I feel like that their potential was peaking at like a conference finals.
Yeah, man.
Like realistically, you know what I mean? And it shows on paper because just the way they're just like ball dominant players that are offensive heavy and they don't really defend. So
Right.
it just wasn't a recipe for success. Besides that one, like they had like
I think
they had a good squad like Alfred Camino.
Yeah, bro. Like I don't know if you remember this, but like Dame was putting up like 50 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Bro, like just dragging them against the
Yeah.
Nuggets. So yeah, they had like a few good little runs, little
Yeah.
playoff runs here mixed throughout the last few years. But yeah, the Blazers have been
So
like, the
weird
whole life.
situation, and I don't know. I don't really like. Yeah, I guess you could take like the best talent, but I feel like you already have a shit ton of guards, and you're gonna have to either trade one of those or.
And Simons is the real deal too.
Yeah,
Like,
I fuck with Simons. So what you gonna? Are you just gonna play 3 guards? You know what I mean? I mean, you could probably, but
Yeah.
like.
I'm still taking.
I feel like they're just like at that point they're just like, hey, go out there, hoop, let's see what we can do, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah,
Like,
I think in the Blazers are in a good situation to where like nobody really expects them to win a championship yet.
No.
So like taking Scoot Henderson again like isn't gonna hurt them in the long run necessarily if he turns out to be a great player. Like
Yeah.
if they're able to develop him. So like I feel like that's probably what they'll do.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, I feel like these top 3 picks are kind of locked in.
Yeah.
We'll see
yeah,
how
you
it goes.
think those are gonna be like obviously Wembanyama, but what about Miller and Henderson? Do you think they're gonna be like generational talents, or what do you think their like ceiling is? I guess.
I feel like Scoot's ceiling is higher than Brandon Miller's.
Okay.
Just because I haven't seen Brandon Miller play against NBA competition, and like Scoot was in the G League.
G League,
like,
yeah.
He's been in the G League for some years.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
2 years I think now.
Where's
So,
he from?
Honestly, maybe I don't know. Honestly, maybe Georgia. I don't know. But yeah, no, Scoot's like
Cali.
Yeah, Cali. Okay, so Scoot's the real deal to me, man. Like I feel like his ceiling's like
Yeah,
very superstar.
They gave him a 97 overall.
Yeah, like he has a high grade, bro. Like he's the real deal. He's like a Ja Morant-esque type of prototype.
They said NBA comparison, Derrick Rose / Ja Morant.
Ja Morant, yeah, for sure. So that's kind of who he reminds me of. I think that's definitely special. But Brandon Miller's no slouch either, man. Like
let's see what
he was getting
compared him
buckets
to.
at Bama, and as long as he can kind of keep his name out of trouble, I feel like he'll be straight.
NBA comparison, Paul George.
Okay, so like another combo forward. Yeah, exactly.
Combo forward that can
PG's a good
has a good handle, plays good defense.
Exactly,
is big, lengthy. So
yeah. So
awesome.
We'll see. It's gonna be interesting.
What they have for Wembanyama. What they just like?
Oh, it's probably 100. Yeah, it's legendary type of play. We'll see.
Oh shit.
We'll see.
All right, we'll cut after this. Ralph Sampson. That's a name.
Wow.
If you know, you know. That's kind of
they're comparing
crazy.
Victor Wembanyama to Ralph Sampson.
I hope not. That means he'll get injured.
I was about to say, like, that's not
let's hope not, but
the best. We'll see though. Oh, so I guess we just finished up talking about that 2023 mock draft.
Yeah.
We're gonna now transition into kind of what happened in Game 6 of Celtics and the Heat. So this game it was crazy. I remember I was kind of watching
we're chilling over here, and then you ended up dipping. I think like second half.
Yeah,
something like that.
It was like second half.
Yeah.
And so like I think that basically this game was just crazy. But yeah, I was shocked by how this ended. Because like I said on the first pod, I was kind of bashing the Celtics and see them like get that third win, and like now they're literally playing Game 7 right now. It's kind of crazy, but anyways, yeah, it started off. The Celtics kind of gave it to the Heat at the beginning. I think they jumped out to like it was like a 12-point lead or something. It was kind of a large lead. But I remember in the second half things started to change.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was kind of following along on the ESPN play-by-play with him because we weren't able to watch on YouTube TV because people steal my account. So y'all know how it is, man.
It'd be like that.
Yeah, it'd be like that. But I don't care. Like, so I'm like, whatever. Like, I'll get on ESPN. I don't mind. I'll listen to it OG style. We actually had it listening to the radio.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like, it was really cool.
That's
actually.
pretty cool.
I actually recommend you guys do that. Like, if you guys like want to go OG, listen to like a radio broadcast.
Yeah.
Listen to Mike Breen yell bang.
Bang! Okay.
But anyways, so we were watching the second half. And we're seeing, Jimmy Butler starting to get to the line a little bit more. He's starting to be more aggressive. Same with Bam. Max Strus is hooping a little bit. Gabe Vincent's obviously getting his buckets.
Oh yeah, facts. Because he didn't play in Game 5.
He didn't
right?
play. He didn't play in Game 5.
Yeah.
But the Heat actually took the lead, and they were down like 12.
Yeah.
And took the lead right at the end of the third quarter.
Yeah.
And I remember kind of like I was like telling him, I was telling Isaac, who's in the back, I was like, man, this fourth quarter is gonna be like a big deal.
Yeah.
It's gonna be back and forth. And it ended up going right down to the wire, man. And I remember Jimmy Butler. It's actually the NBA comes out with a 2-minute report, which is basically where the referees have to explain the last 2 minutes of a close game. And Jimmy Butler had gotten fouled by Al Horford on like a 3-point attempt. And it was kind of after it looked like he had double dribbled, and it was kind of suspect. But basically, yeah, he had gotten fouled. I think it was 99 to, or I think it was 100 to 102. So he had to hit 3 free throws for them to get a 1-point lead, and it was like with 1.2 seconds left, and he ended up hitting all 3 free throws. So now it's 103-102 Celtics, or the Celtics are down a point
by one.
By one. So they called a timeout to advance the ball because that's how it works in the NBA.
Yep.
You can like move the ball up court basically if you have a timeout. So they do that. They kind of, they inbound it straight to, I forgot. I think it was Marcus Smart again who took the jumper.
That's so crazy.
You know what I mean? Like he's been
and
taking
Jason Tatum was
Jason Tatum's on the floor, and it's Marcus Smart taking the little buzzer beater jumper. But anyways, Marcus Smart takes this 3 and ends up rimming out. And Derek White, with 0.2 seconds left, ends up tipping it in, and they win 104-103. And to force a Game 7. And it actually been, I think the last time that had happened, I think starting off elimination, it only happened once, I think, for like, it was a buzzer beater to like go into a certain game. I think it was with MJ and Kawhi. I think, because like Kawhi's was to finish the series, and
Oh.
then MJ's was the Cavs. The
yeah,
Cavs won.
the shot.
Yeah, the shot.
Yeah.
So there's only been 2 other instances where it happened. So and then
Sheesh.
Derek White. So I guess that's the third.
Fuck.
So yeah, it was a big deal. It was one of like the historical games that you could call like in the NBA.
I'm so pissed that I fell asleep. Bro.
Yeah, like
I was
she
tired,
was telling me
bro.
off camera.
Like we were chilling, you know, just chopping it up and stuff, and then he ended up dipping, and I like ate some food, laid down on my couch, and like knocked out, and woke up. It was like midnight. I was like, "Fuck!" And then I saw like you had texted me. You're like, "Bro, did you see it?" And I'm like, I replied like 2 hours later. I was like, "No, I didn't, bro." And so I'm a little upset, but. Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
man.
like you can hear it in my voice, my emotions, see it in my face. Like,
no, I already know,
Yeah,
like, because
like, it
that's
was a
like
big
an
deal.
emotional game,
Yeah,
especially
it was-
if you get fouled to get to the line.
yeah, and like I
that's
said, I
crazy.
couldn't see it.
Yeah.
Like I was listening. Like I was listening. Me and Isaac were listening to Doris.
So you were just
Burke,
like
and-
imagining.
Yeah, we
that
were just
shit?
like imagining it, and like I remember the play-by-play was kind of late on updating like Derek White's tip in.
Oh shit.
And I remember being like, wait, like I think somebody hit a buzzer beater because like it'll take a second. Like
Yeah.
if somebody, you know, on the ESPN app, like if somebody hits a buzzer beater, like it takes a second to go final. And sure enough, like it showed Derek White tipped it in. But yeah, it was a legendary game, man. It's a shame you missed it. But
Yeah, bro, I'm a little upset about that.
for sure.
But
But
it's
yeah,
all good.
just to like transition to kind of into my next question I have for you, bro. You know, what are some of like the most historical playoff performances you can remember, like in your life, and then obviously we can go through some ones in history on the internet and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I'd like to hear your take on that because I thought that'd be a
Shit,
good
that's a good question.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We'll be able to talk about it.
Like you got having me think about it for a
Yeah,
little bit.
dude.
But off the top, like this is like one that I was like, oh, I knew he was like
Yeah,
that.
like, he's him.
Braun when he was just running through the East for like 3 years
Straight in the Toronto, yeah.
LeBronto,
Yeah.
like hitting buzzer beaters,
For
like
sure.
every other series, like that
was crazy.
That was when I was like, that's memorable for me because I think we kind of talked about it off camera.
Yeah,
like we both kind of stopped watching basketball for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
so I was kind of the same way. Like I think it was when I was like in San Marcos, like. But that was like the 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
Like I was keeping up with it, but like not
Yeah.
watching every single game.
Yeah,
you know
for
what I mean?
sure, for sure.
So like I think seeing the finals and stuff, and it's like, oh shit, like that was the year they came back 3-1, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like that was or was that 16?
Well, I
No,
think
it was 17.
17. I think it was 17.
So
Because that was the 73 and 9.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that whole like LeBron like that year, shit, probably like 2-3 years, like when he went back to Cleveland.
Right.
I think that was just he was just dominant. Like
Okay.
you knew like it was gonna be the
He's
the
him.
Cavs in the
Yeah.
in the finals. Like it was kind of crazy.
Man. Yeah, that was
Even
the
with
time.
IT being in the Celtics being the number 1 seed, like I think they were LeBron with the
Sheesh,
Cavs were like the
IT.
4th seed or something. So
Yeah, bro.
it was just kind of
that's
like a guarantee.
that's like very fresh in my memory,
Yeah.
honestly. Like I'll kind of like go on mine. It's like I remember the bubble playoff performances a lot, man.
Really?
Like yeah, like honestly, like the bubble was probably some of the best hoops I had watched in recent memory. I just remember Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell going at it, bro.
yeah,
And
50
50
I was
balls
just I
left
just
and
watched
right.
the video today.
And
that-
Luca with the buzzer beater on the Clippers.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And Devin Booker too with the
Yes,
buzzer.
bro.
And the Suns went 8-0 in the bubble. I
They
know
did.
you remember that. They didn't
yeah,
lose
where
a
he was
game.
like sitting like this. And
They just
shit.
weren't good enough to go to the playoffs.
Crazy.
But
yeah, no, that I actually was watching a video today of what was the videos that I've been sending you?
the synthetic
Synthetic sports.
It was one on the Celtics.
Yeah,
the
but
one
we
that
were
you
just
sent me
watching.
today.
But I just actually watched a bubble one, and they were talking about it, and it was like, yeah, like that just proved to like all like NBA fans that if you're playing in an empty gym, then like more than likely you're gonna hit your shots. You know,
Yeah.
so it was kind of crazy, and like they were talking about them going out at the 50-point like games
For
and,
sure.
Yeah, like just wars, like just hooping. You know,
Heck yeah. Like I feel like for me, I was like, that was back when I kind of got back into hoops and just watching it, I guess you could say, because we all love basketball always, 100%.
Yeah.
But like when I was watching it in the bubble, man, it was like some of the best hoops I've ever experienced or ever like witnessed.
Yeah.
And I've seen some pretty crazy things. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
And like I remember kind of like also too when Giannis like had that 50-point game in the finals, bro. Like that performance was kind of crazy because I
Yeah.
remember I was telling him off camera that was actually the game that I kind of got me back into watching like basketball. Was like I had actually got this ESPN notification that like he was hooping, and I was like, I'll tune into it, like whatever, we'll see. And he ended up like getting like 50, and it was a big deal because that was when he was trying to bring the championship to Milwaukee. Like it was like,
Milwaukee,
like
40
it was
years.
like the city. So he was really all about it. It was really inspirational. So I remember that pretty vividly. And of course, like Luka in Game 7. Going crazy in Phoenix
finals and shit. Yeah,
that's a pretty like memorable, fresh memory for me. Where I'm like, that's gonna be a core memory. Like I'm gonna tell my kids about that. Like,
really?
Yeah, bro. Like, that was really cool.
Yeah,
for
that
me.
shit
Like,
was cool.
I was like, I just remember being like spazzing out. Like I was screaming with my girl. Like, oh my God, Luka's got 35. He has as much as the whole team.
Dude.
Like, oh my God. So yeah, bro, it was lit though.
Okay.
Like those moments I'll never forget in my life for sure. So
no, hell yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah. But yeah, man, like I just feel like the playoffs are so deep, bro. Like whenever somebody's hooping in the playoffs, it's like times 100. The magnifying glass gets way bigger.
Yeah.
So like when Tatum had 50 against the Sixers, and
that was just crazy.
That's another one that'll probably be in my mind for a while too. And again,
sure.
I hate the Celtics. I'm gonna always say it, but yeah, bro, like
Even that Game 7 by Steph.
yeah, bro. With
first
the
round
Kings,
against the Kings,
for
yeah.
sure. There's been some this year. That's what. Yeah. So like to my point, like there's always crazy, playoff performances. Like I think always, and it's been nice to experience some for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some ones in history that we didn't get to watch.
Yeah.
And like I don't know if we can. You want to talk about those too?
Yeah, I was about to say, bro, like
Jordan's 60 ball.
I wish I was watching Jordan for sure. Like if I could go back just to see that, bro, like because like I really think he like revolutionized the game as a whole, and like the fact that everybody agrees with that is like kind of blows
that's
my,
the thing.
You know what I mean? It's like everyone agrees.
Like it's universal, bro.
Yeah, like
for
everyone's
sure.
like, who's the best?
Nobody,
Jordan? Is that
nobody
even
debates.
a question?
Yeah,
like,
bro.
So it's crazy to think like there was a player like that.
Yeah,
and like people that he was going against were able to admit that, because usually like, unless you're really like that, they don't say shit like that.
Right. Like
they're
you
not
gotta
gonna
be
like,
uber
yeah,
special, bro.
You gotta be different, like Kobe type,
the most special,
LeBron type shit. So yeah, that one, I wish I could just go back to him
and go
dropping like
even
with like young Jordan when he dropped 61.
Yeah, for sure, in the Garden. Yeah.
And then I wish I could have watched like T-Mac, like I said, and back in I used to, but I really wasn't watching it.
Yeah,
I was a little kid. I was like 10, so I was
T-Mac.
I was keeping up with like when he was at the Rockets, but I wish I could have seen him like. I mean, I don't think he didn't have a lot of playoff success, so I don't think he even got to the conference finals any year.
Yeah, bro.
But like,
I mean, unfortunately, he didn't. But like, yeah, seeing that is kind of like, for me, it would be like, I don't know if you remember this, but it was when Braun scored he scored like 25 straight points, I think, against the Pistons. That's the one I kind of wish I was old enough to understand.
I felt like I was watching.
You were watching that?
Yeah, like I felt
you were old enough.
I watched that game winner, and I was
like, bro. That's what I mean. Like some of that stuff, like you might have been experiencing, and I kind of like faintly remember like some of those games where like he hit that buzzer beater against the Magic and like all this stuff, and I remember that being on the TV, but I couldn't process it, bro, because I was like 5 or 6 when that was going on. So like I didn't know. I really didn't know, but I kind of wish I had like a time machine and we were able to like go back and like I could choose those moments, because there's a lot of them in history, man. That like obviously the ones like I guess like pre-era probably don't necessarily like care about, like for example, like Wilt's 100-point game, like that's cool and everything, but I don't even know if I would watch that, dude, because he would just be running up and down the floor just like dunking on everybody. Like it would get boring. So I feel like some of the ones that we're kind of talking about, the ones that have happened more recently, are like the ones that I would really want to like go see, if that makes sense. So
no, I feel that.
Yeah, bro. For sure. But yeah, I feel like, there's like I was saying earlier, there's always going to be like special playoff performances. So it's been pretty cool to see them like year to year and how they change and stuff like that. I think that really impacts the game, and it impacts players' legacies, man. Like that's ultimately what it comes down to, is like if you get to it in the playoffs, like you're a whole different player. So it's been nice, man. It's been nice to experience that.
It's been really good playoffs, man. And Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets are just chilling right now too, just waiting, bro.
Just waiting. Like I think they've had 10 days of rest. Bro. Yeah. What do you think about that? Like,
I was about to say. I mean, obviously we talk about it off camera, right? But I was saying that them having this much rest might not be a good thing, just because they were on fire
Interesting
for
take.
you know what I mean. However long they were in the playoffs for. When what they win the first round in 5.
Yeah.
And I think this past one they won in. Did they go to game 7
So they
or 6?
Who the Nuggets?
The Nuggets.
So the Nuggets, they went to game 6 against the Suns because
yeah.
KD 36 got 2.
Yeah,
and then they
4.
swept. Yeah,
So yeah, they've been like
they've played. I think what is that 11? So they've played 15 games.
Yeah, and like having that much time off has always been something that like I don't know. Obviously, it's a good thing because you're getting rest, but I don't know if it's a good thing in like you like might cool down. Like you
Right.
might not be. And
I
like
thought that was
you
interesting
obviously got to realize that the team that got to that point has been battling, especially whoever wins this. Like they're kind of gonna be in form. You know what I mean?
Right.
They've been hooping for the past fucking
And that's
week.
an important thing,
You know
man.
what I mean?
Like,
Like,
to be
keep that
informed.
momentum,
Yeah, like the
like-
momentum of being on the court because it's different in practice. Like
Yeah.
you're saying, like it's you can do all the film you want, bro. Like we can study the game all we want, but like I feel like when you get into the game, it's a completely different. And it is. It probably is.
Yeah, especially with like the Heat players, bench players, been hooping pretty much this whole playoffs, and like no one probably expected that.
Right. Like Gabe Vincent just going for 25 and
Yeah,
stuff like that. So
I don't know, man. I've always had that take because I feel like in football, obviously, if you're first seed, then you get a bye week, and I feel like with football, that is straight. All right, how well have you been doing for the past month or 2 months? And
Right.
like we battled to get a wild card, and we're on fire now. So
Yeah,
you know what I
man.
mean. So that's kind of how I always felt about it. And
yeah,
you know,
I
just,
feel like the Heat are taking advantage of that.
Yeah.
Like the momentum.
Yeah,
Like they
like-
haven't stopped hooping since like a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
Like they're still playing today.
yeah,
So like
so they're just
yeah,
battling,
like
getting those dubs.
it's gonna be interesting to see how the Nuggets kind of can regain that momentum that they had in the Lakers series. And honestly, I think they're so great. Like Jokic,
I think
Murray,
they'll
be okay.
Yeah.
Me and CJ again, we were kind of talking off camera, but I feel like your finals prediction is gonna be Nuggets in however many games.
Yeah.
even if it's the Celtics, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, same.
I think Nuggets in
Same.
6
6
maybe?
probably.
Yeah.
I agree.
Maybe.
I think
I just
Heat-
don't know who's gonna stop Jokic.
Same, dude.
And you talked about it last episode. Like I don't think anybody can.
Right, and like if you double, you're torched.
Yeah,
And if
because
it's-
they have like their players are stepping up right now and they're hitting their shots.
Exactly.
Jamal Murray is a bucket, and
exactly.
and
Everybody's healthy.
Yeah, I would say you said it in, shit. I think you were saying that the Celtics like they were getting beat up from the guard play
Right.
with Trae Young. So
Yeah,
that
bro.
kinda exposed,
That
like,
pick and
their-
roll. Yeah.
and like that's what
Yeah, that's all the Nuggets just
They're gonna
have
be
that
doing.
2-man game.
Yeah.
It's Jokic and Murray, and they run it. They abuse pick and roll, and it's super just like whenever you watch them play, it's like you can tell that like Mike Malone was like, oh, just run the 2-man game with Jokic and Murray. Like we were doing analytics on the side. They're getting like 60%, like high percentage shots.
Yeah.
Like they can see all that stuff.
Oh,
so
yeah,
like
yeah.
they're just spam it, man.
Just keep doing it,
It's
yeah.
been working, man.
Yeah.
It's really cool. There's actually a podcast, a little shout out Ben on Thinking Basketball. He actually goes through like a lot of the different series and like matchups and stuff like that, and he like breaks down kind of like how they're actually happening. So like he was breaking down kind of like Jamal Murray and Jokic's 2-man game and like how special that stuff really is because like I said, it can get you to an NBA Finals, and it really has in the Nuggets case. So like I'm excited to see them, like whoever their opponent is, like after tonight. Like I'm excited to kind of get to the NBA Finals and see how that plays out because I feel like Game 1 is going to be a really big like test to see like
see what's
like what's popping,
Yeah.
how things are going on, what adjustments need to be made, what players are going to be hooping, what players are not. So it's going to be exciting. But yeah, I definitely got Nuggets, man. I got Nuggets all the way.
Yeah.
I'm not a Nuggets fan or anything, but
Yeah,
I
you
just,
said you're. I mean, you're obviously.
yeah,
a Lakers
I
fan,
just
so-
like anybody in the West again just bothers me, and then
Well,
obviously
yeah.
the Celtics
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Thunder, like CJ knows, like so LeBron broke the record against the Thunder, of
Yep.
course, right? When I was watching, on FaceTime with I think with my dad, and we were watching, we were kind of trying to experience that moment, but
Yeah, that's dope.
basically like we didn't win the game, and
Nope.
that's kind of for me that's the most important thing. So
Yep.
like I just don't like the West. I don't like anything that's got to do with the Lakers, man. I just hold it close.
No, yeah, and,
Yeah.
and that's how it should be. You know,
Yeah, for
as
sure.
as a fan and a fan that is passionate about it.
100%.
Like, and like we said, like he said in the last episode, he was like, "Bro, I don't even wear green on fucking St. Patrick's Day."
Yeah,
Man,
no,
that
for
shit's
sure.
so
I'll be
funny
getting
to me,
pinched.
like, That's hilarious.
Like my mom would just pinch me. She's like, "Where's your green?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm
like, come on, mom. You know I'm not gonna rock that." That's hilarious.
Yeah, man, for sure. And CJ's got on the Mamba jersey, man.
Oh, yeah.
He's showing love to the Lakers. Yeah, it's right there, bro. It's right there.
Hey, this is his MVP season.
Yeah, for sure. Hard, man. It's a little hard work.
This
classic.
when I turned 24. Shout out to Zay, Alex, and Zachariah.
Yeah, shout out to the boys, man.
They got it for my birthday.
100%.
And I was like, shit, like right
had to
when
give a
Kobe
shout out.
passed away.
Bro,
and shit,
had to.
It was like this jersey means, you
Super
know,
dope.
has like a meaning behind it, you know. But
heck yeah, man.
I actually have a question for you, sir.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So who had the best MVP season to you of all time?
Of all time. Like ever, just in the NBA.
Just in your opinion,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's a tough one. I'm gonna think about it because as I'm talking, like I feel like there's a lot of different seasons.
I mean,
I'll start spinning because there's a lot of different MVP seasons that I feel like are underrated.
Yeah,
like Steve Nash's MVP season, or like Dirk's, or even Tim Duncan's.
Okay.
So like there's a few that are underrated, but like, ooh man, probably like
if you had to choose
the most special
meant a lot to you and like
for me. Okay, you're gonna be shocked by my answer. Like you're gonna be shocked because it's not about even Lakers or anything. For me, it's Derrick Rose's, and like I feel like he's the Rose from the concrete, bro. And his MVP kind of goes to show you like anything's really possible, bro. Like because I feel like he was really the first one, and there's podcasts, but Isaiah Thomas went on this podcast with Matt Barnes, and it's I forget what it's called, but like not all this. What's it called?
What was it? Sorry, what'd you say?
It's the Matt Barnes and like KG and They be having like guests on there. I forget the name, bro. But anyways, basically like they were chatting about Derrick Rose, and they had Isaiah Thomas on there as a guest. Mm-hmm. And basically he was explaining like for Derrick Rose to go and get that MVP at the age that he did it at, and for Chicago kids to go and see that, like that was something. Like, and he touched the youth at that time. Like he was really reaching the kids. Like Derrick Rose, I guess you could say was like, it's kind of like a Ja or like an AI. Like he was moving the culture that much.
For sure.
Back then, because he was kind of like a nonchalant kind of guy. And I think he's the youngest MVP
Yep, youngest
ever.
MVP, 22.
For sure. He was only 22 when he got to it. And for him to like, especially for like, and I'll say Derrick Rose too, like, so I'll say his MVP is the most special also, not even because like it was like all that great, but I'd also say like the impact that it had on his career, like, cause he didn't know he was going to get hurt. Yeah. And the fact that he was able to like get an MVP and like accomplish that and accomplish like doing that at the least, cause the injuries that he had to go through, man, like it's, you know, he still don't even hoop to this day. And like to see him on the bench on the Knicks, it kind of like pains me because I know like what he used to be. Yeah. And like he just can't be that anymore. Yeah. But like I know he got to experience that. And that's a big deal. And you're fine. And that's a big deal. So like I just loved his MVP season, man. It was really special. I feel like I said, there's a lot of underrated ones that are out there, like Steve Nash's, you know, Tim Duncan, of course, like, but Dirk, but yeah, Derrick Rose to me, man, he inspired so many kids, and he inspired me, honestly, to want to pick up a basketball and like go harder at it. And I think that's kind of like, that's something that like I feel like is kind of overlooked nowadays in the NBA. Is like everything's kind of so, you know, promotional, so this, so that. But D Rose is really like about hoops, and I know he loves hoops, and y'all should definitely go check out that podcast. He's even done a few like interviews and stuff like that, and he's a really down to earth guy. So for me, that's probably the most impactful one. You know, I mean, I just like, it's really interesting for me because like the last few years too, and I'll kind of gear into like another little segue. It's like, it's kind of like, I feel like now over the last few years, it's been Embiid, Giannis, and Jokic. And those are the only three players that have been like truly in the MVP conversation. And honestly, bro, like another reason why I feel like Derrick Rose's MVP is so important is like it was just one of the ones that skipped kind of like the quota. It wasn't like a Tim Duncan or a LeBron. It was somebody new. Derrick Rose was like, he just hit the scene. Like I said, I think he was 22. So like that to me makes it super impactful. And
Do you think that it was impactful for like kids in general, like all around, like for
D
kids?
Rose's MVP?
Yeah, like
I think so, but I also think it was impactful for like adults, bro. Like I think it was impactful for everybody.
Okay,
Because like I was
okay.
talking about, like Isaiah Thomas was over here, like Detroit Pistons. He was like legendary, man, and he's over here watching this young kid get into it, and he's like, "Dang, man, like this kid's really about to inspire a lot of kids." I just feel like Derrick Rose's MVP season was like probably the most impactful. Right, I'm gonna be honest, because that's one that's like. Nobody expected him to get it at the time that he got it at, and like
Facts.
for him to be around, you know,
the underdog.
Yeah, bro, he was kind of like the underdog. Like I said, he was the rose from the concrete. So yeah, like of course I agree with that.
So you said Derrick Rose's MVP season?
Yes,
is
without a doubt, bro.
Yeah.
And like I was kind of telling Sai, like we were chatting when you were at the door, but. Yeah, bro. Like for me, it was just the most impactful to me, and I feel like to the culture at the time, because like I was telling him, it was like not a LeBron, a Kobe, like a Tim, like or even like a Steve Nash. It was like a new player, like almost like a rookie, almost. I want to say
new type of
bro.
new like evolution of a point guard.
Yeah, bro.
Like that was when
like that hyper athletic point guard, and you know who? Yeah, bro.
I mean that's also what Westbrook became.
Bro.
Pretty much all De'Aaron Fox is like that now. It's like John Wall. You know what I mean? Like that was
John
that era.
Wall. Wow.
You know what I mean? So hell yeah, that's a good pick, bro.
Yeah,
he's like one of my top 5 like MVP seasons
for sure. Like 100%.
But
I'm excited to hear yours.
Yeah,
man.
I feel like mine might be a little like you like already know.
Okay.
But I think it's KD's MVP season, bro. 2013, 14. Like that, just what he
for
had
you.
To, yeah, for me personally, that was when I was fully invested into basketball. I had been watching KD since he entered the league and seeing him become an MVP. Like,
bro.
I don't know if I told you, or we probably discussed it, but it was off camera. Like, we just chop it up and shit.
Of course.
I think I had said that I wore a KD jersey when I was like in
Supersonics,
like 6th grade or something like that. And someone was like, who is that? And I was like, oh, it's Kevin Durant. And they're like, oh, like, I don't even know who that is. And it's crazy because, like, now, like, he becomes MVP. So
yeah, bro.
It was one of those,
one of
like, I had been,
ever.
like, fucking with him since the beginning. You know what I mean? Like, no one, before anyone thought he was going to
be it in this Hall of Fame demigod.
Couldn't even, like, bench, a plate. You know what I mean?
Literally.
So it's, like, one of those things where it's, like, man, like, seeing him become an MVP and like that was who I was a fan of, and that team just like
for sure,
that
bro.
young Thunder team that like they were in the running for like a championship every single season. It was just dope to see. And then like obviously stuff obviously Westbrook got injured that year, so that was like another big thing of like, okay, like KD could really do this.
Yeah, man. I think because I think like technically when that happened, he was the franchise's like first MVP, right? Like the Thunder.
Yeah.
So like that's another thing you could technically say is like he was the team's first MVP. Like the team, literally the team's first MVP ever. Like the Thunder.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal in itself. And like obviously, like again, like KD's longevity now. Like so we look back on it too. Like KD still hoops now. Yeah. He's still getting to it now. So like
10 years.
Yeah, bro. Like so long down the line. So it's crazy to obviously that he won that at that time period. Because I mean that was a kind of a crazy time for hoops. I feel like.
Yeah, because that was when Braun was still doing his thing in Miami.
Yeah, like it was hard to get an MVP.
Kobe was
basically.
still hooping.
Yeah, like it wasn't easy just to get an MVP back in those days. So yeah, I definitely I can see that for you, man.
Oh, yeah, that meant a lot, man.
Yeah,
that's why I was watching that shit when y'all came in earlier, because like just what he was doing and the way he was scoring, it was just crazy,
different
man.
for the time. And like again, like nobody like KD had ever really been in the league like that before. Like
not really.
Like 7. I mean, he's listed at 6'10", but he's like 7 foot.
Yeah.
You know, hitting threes. 50, 40,
dunking
90, like dunking all over people
hitting
and
the
stuff like that.
In the post.
Yeah, bro. Like he had it all,
floaters,
man.
Bro, like
he had
his
it all.
bag was unlimited. So
and obviously from UT. So.
Yeah, Austin.
You know what I'm
saying? Obviously he's from Maryland, but
yeah, for sure.
Went to UT.
Yeah, I went to UT college. Same difference.
Same difference.
It is what it is. But yeah, that's a good pick, bro, for sure. Yeah. I can see that. I feel like a lot of people might, if you ask them that question, they might go with that one too.
Yeah. But there's so many, man. I could go on and on.
Yeah, like I was kind of talking about it with Sai.
Steph's unanimous MVP, crazy. That whole season. I mean, it's just like first time ever.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
Bron
history.
should have got it whenever he was in Miami, but like
100%.
first time ever.
I think Kobe should have gotten a unanimous MVP, bro.
Really?
Yeah, bro. And,
What year? The year he won?
Well, just it's the year that he had like the third most like 40 point. Like he dropped 40.
Oh, was
I
that the
remember,
06?
Yeah, it was like that season. I
Yeah.
don't think he won though. I think Nash did.
That was the year Nash
Yeah,
won. I
like-
think Nash won 05, 06.
It was kind of weird, but I mean, I'm not gonna discredit Nash, but yeah, I just think some players should have had some unanimous ones before
For sure.
Curry. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Curry hater a little bit.
Are
bro.
you?
Yeah, like in the closet Curry hater.
Damn. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think he's. I mean,
Because he just hit so many threes, bro.
Yeah, he just is like a
He
cheat
just be
code.
running around cheat code. He
Yeah.
kind of broke 2K. Like he's like a
Ruined
backwards
2K
demigod. Like
Yeah.
now, like you can shoot from the half court line, and like that ain't.
It doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, that don't fit, bro.
Fuck, that's crazy.
But it's because Curry. But yeah, he's there for sure. And then who else, man? Like I would say, like I mean
for
Westbrook.
Me, I would say Westbrook as well.
Like the
First time
triple-double.
ever triple double.
Yeah, like-
average since Big O.
For sure. That's a big deal, man.
Even I mean, I'm just gonna say all the Thunder boys.
Yeah, of
you
course.
know,
I mean-
Harden when he won his, like that was a historical season.
like Giannis.
Yeah.
I feel like Giannis's was a big deal because the Bucks haven't had an MVP. And
Since like Kareem, right?
did he win MVP?
I don't know, honestly.
We should look that up because that's what I mean. Like I don't know if the Bucks had one. It was like maybe honestly he might have, bro. Because I feel like Kareem was definitely getting to it, like when he was hooping on the Bucks. Dang, we're about to pull it up right now. We're about to see.
Let's see.
We'll have to see. We have to dig a little deeper. But yeah, I mean, I like that answer. I think like just going back to KD, I feel like that's a pretty safe one.
Yeah, especially like that was like that player for me. You
Yeah,
know?
dude,
Like, you
like,
know how
he's
you were
him,
saying like
he's him.
LeBron is like
Yeah,
that
bro.
guy for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like Derrick Rose was starting to become that guy for me, and he just got hurt. Like going back to my take, like if he would have like not been hurt, I feel like D Rose would have been my favorite player like to this day, because he would have been like hooping normally.
Yeah,
if that
he
makes
was
sense.
he was definitely up there, bro. I was
Yeah, like he
man,
was
he's-
cold, bro.
Fuck, bro, hold up.
We're about to see this.
Kareem won one with the Bucks in 71,
Okay.
73.
So you're right.
Yeah. So
So
the
yeah,
70s.
yeah, since the 70s. So
unless someone else did,
nah, the Bucks were booty cheeks.
yeah, they've been pretty trash.
But I mean, I think they
Or yeah, Giannis. Duh.
Giannis, yeah, just Giannis. So yeah, I mean that's a big deal. I'd say Giannis's was a big deal, and
Yeah.
I think KD's MVP speech too, man. Like had to add that icing
You the
on the
real
cake.
MVP?
Yeah, bro. Like oh my gosh,
Oh my gosh. And then fucking Russ in the back.
I had to
looking at the
hug my
trophy.
mom for the one time, like
Yeah.
after I seen that.
That shit's
when I was
crazy,
a kid, bro. Like
Oh,
I was
dude.
inspired by that. I remember I'll never forget getting the KD 5s.
The high top ones?
Yeah, like the high
What color?
tops, like the blue, orange, and white ones.
I have those ones.
Really? So like I was
Yeah.
gonna say those were pretty like I think those were like the first ones. Like they were like the first little model that he
Yeah,
dropped.
yeah,
and
yeah.
I was so excited to get the box and see his logo on there. And this is
Yeah.
like back before I could even comprehend any of this
Any
stuff.
of it,
now.
yeah.
Like now we had to make logos and stuff for our business and stuff like that. But,
Right?
like,
That's
yeah,
just-
like I like
I do
KD's
that shit,
yeah,
like,
bro. Like we
yeah.
had to do that. So
I'm dead.
it was sick, bro. Like I think that's definitely a good pick, man.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I actually have a question for you
Yeah?
as well, sir.
I think-
so. You saw it. I'll put the picture of it on the screen,
For
but
sure.
it's a tweet.
It'll be somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere above us right here.
Yeah, like somewhere.
NBA on ESPN tweeted out, tell us the NBA take you're defending like this. And it's a picture of Jordan Clarkson squaring up. And I had
Mine's a hot
tagged ZD in it, and I wanted him to
Yeah.
kind
Kinda
of
break it down.
bring it to the discussion.
To light. For me, like if I'm throwing hands with somebody over this, and it's a big deal for me, I think LeBron's the GOAT, bro, hands down. Like
Without a
a doubt, like hands down. Like and I'll kind of explain it. Like I just feel like okay, so he's got 4 rings, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That is.
Okay, he's been in the finals a lot.
Yeah.
And he's lost a lot.
For
True,
sure.
True. Jordan has 6. Okay, and I'm not going to lie.
Perfect.
The only other person in competition realistically is Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
That's the only other person we're going to be talking about in this
Okay.
debate. For me, at least.
Okay.
Like, that's the only other person I would listen to and be like, okay, like, you got a point.
Yeah.
So, I just feel like LeBron being so like he still plays today, bro. He's played for so long. He has so much longevity. He's been so great for so long. Like some of his records won't ever be broken. Yeah. Just because you had to come into the league and immediately produce at 18.
Yeah.
Like not 21. Like you had to be an 18-year-old out of high school. Like you were saying, like he was moving the culture. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated
as like a junior.
Yeah, bro. Like
Crazy.
literally not even as like a senior.
Yeah.
And, but the point is like I just feel like when you're so great for so long at something, like, and honestly, like I don't know how long MJ actually played because he took that little hiatus. I don't know if it's like how long he actually played. Was it like 12?
How many years?
Yeah, was it like 12 years?
Yeah, I mean here we
can look it up
yeah.
real quick, but.
Yeah, he definitely took 2 years off.
It's nowhere near the production that LeBron James is doing it at this age, obviously. And like obviously when MJ went to the Wizards, you know, he was kind of like ineffective. But yeah. I mean, he had 50. I'm not gonna lie. I think he's one of the oldest players to put up 50.
Score 50, yeah.
Which is cool. But I just feel like LeBron still being able to put up 30 a night.
He played 13 seasons.
13 seasons. I think LeBron's on his 20th. 21st, I thought.
He was drafted in 2002. Yeah, you're right.
21st, yeah. So, like, he's been going at it for 21 years.
He's been in the league longer
I'm
than
21.
He was whenever he got drafted.
Right. Like, I'm 21.
He was 18 when he got drafted. He's been in the league for 21 years.
Yeah. And he's you know, he's LeBron. Like, he literally put up a 40-point damn near triple-double in game 4 of, you know, against the Nuggets. And I know we didn't, you know, win, but he's 38.
Yeah.
Like, he's not 25.
Yeah, what do you expect?
He's carrying them. Like, he's got the backpack on still.
So let me bring this up then. Just to counter your
go
argument. What do you have to say about the 2011 NBA Finals?
Against the Mavs?
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a stain on his record for sure. I don't really have much to say. Like, I think he choked. I think the lights were too bright. I think he might have been dealing with like some things off the court, but that don't really matter. Like
that doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like
I mean, Jordan was like he didn't
like he didn't lose.
That wasn't a thing.
That wasn't a problem
for Jordan.
Right. But I would also say Jordan never had the amount of hype that LeBron ever had at the age that, you know,
LeBron.
Yeah, like Jordan wasn't popular at 17. Jordan was trying to make a high school varsity team. There's two different things. So like there's a reason that that pressure was on Bron and not Jordan. Okay. So like that's the counter to like that, at least in my opinion. Because like there's just go ahead. You got a question, Zach. Zach's gonna grab the mic real quick, man. He's been waiting patiently. So
I'll say to this point though, what do you say to the people that have been to the people that, you know, will make arguments saying that Curry might be the GOAT now?
I honestly I could see that. Because he's transcended the game in a way that nobody else has, obviously, with the three. So
it's probably since Jordan.
Yeah, like since since Jordan really.
Maybe like KD
or like somebody who came into the league and like really changed
I guess
it.
Bron.
Yeah, like Bron. It's Bron, like Kevin. There's only a few guys.
Yeah.
But Curry's on that list now, and it's actually funny you bring that up because
we were talking about it.
Like me and him, we were texting about it earlier today, and he actually I think we were talking about what was the text. It was like top 5.
Yeah, I was like Curry is definitely a top 5 point guard of all time,
and I said
he was like shit, he might
top
be
3,
and I was like shit, he might be number 1.
So I'm gonna be honest. The one thing that I will say about Curry is, I guess he's been in a situation because really I started to know about him. I didn't know Curry like in high school or anything. I knew him from the NCAA tournament at Davidson when he started getting hot. Like that's
I didn't know about him in high school.
You know, like when LeBron went to the games. That's kind of when we started hearing about Curry.
Yeah,
I never thought he would turn out the way he's turned out. But I think he's still got some work to do in terms of statistics, if that makes sense. Like he's not on those lists that you need to be on in terms of like career points and all this other stuff. Like he's got his threes made. Yeah. He's got his rings. Like he's got he's got his rings. Yeah. Like I cannot debate that. But I just don't think I think he's still got to go a little while longer. And when I say that, like probably like 5 more good years of like.
I feel like he could though.
Yeah, I feel like he will.
Like just the type of player. It's not like he.
Just not right now.
Yeah,
not yet.
It's not like yet. He is like a player that relies so much on his athletic ability.
Right, he's a shooter.
He's a shooter.
Exactly. So he's gonna be around.
playing at like 42 realistically. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no. I think like to answer Zach's question though, I feel like right now the argument to me isn't like that great just because
not yet.
Not yet. Just because he hasn't reached like that status of like playing for that long. Because Curry's he's older, but he's still got some years. Like CJ's saying, like he's still gonna be around for a little while. Definitely longer than Bron. Like Bron's leaving in 2 years.
Well,
like,
also I think the like thing that people forget is that like Curry was also like injury riddled for the first couple years of his career.
Oh,
so
that's
like
right.
he didn't really get healthy till like what 2013,
third year,
2014. He
It was
got
'cause of his
drafted in like
ankles.
09. So
yeah, man.
he didn't like
You're
Monte
right about
Ellis
that.
was there. So like him
you're
being
right
like
about
that franchise player wasn't even expected. Like
Yeah.
So I think it's his.
I think
Bron just like longevity wise has been good since the very beginning.
Exactly.
And that's gonna be something that like people are gonna say about him. Like he was doing it at 18.
Right.
Curry wasn't like, I think he got into the league when he was like 22 or,
Yeah, like
or
he was-
21.
he
or
was
some
21.
shit. So it's like, and
Yeah.
Bron was like damn near in the NBA finals when he was in 22. So it's like, you know, it's different levels.
There's levels.
Like, expectations, like you said, I
But-
guess has a bigger thing to do with it
Yeah,
as well.
and I think they were playing on the All-Star team 2 years ago. Did you watch that when Curry was like turning around? He put up 55, I think, in the All-Star game. Like he was doing crazy stuff. Even Bron was talking about it. He was like, the way that he's gotten people to realize you can do like you don't have to dunk. You don't have to like have even though he has a crazy handle,
He does.
but like you just got to, if you can shoot from the parking lot, like you can hoop. Like you can stay, like for sure, like always. Like there's always gonna be a place for you if you can do that stuff. So like Bron was saying that. So even like he's kind of got the respect from legends. I think he's close to getting in that conversation of like real GOAT status, but we got some more years, I think. And kind of like, I think that kind of like, I want to transition to like the next thing we were talking
Let's
about.
do it.
Like, you think the Warriors dynasty is over? Going off like the Curry thing was Zach?
I don't think the Warriors dynasty is over, but I definitely think it's on the decline right now. I don't know the consistency of Clay and Draymond is the things in question, and more than likely they're gonna want to keep that trio together. They've already been there for
like they want to keep that core together,
you know?
bro.
So it's like, why would they want to switch it up? And
they want to,
you know, and it's like, I just don't think I think Draymond obviously will probably affect the game in a different way, and Clay is just the toss up.
Yeah, no. Well, the reason I bring that up is I feel like LeBron kind of like Curry was backpacking in the series against the Lakers, and I feel like Bron kind of just like dismantled the Warriors and AD and kind of just got them out of there. Yeah. Like you're saying, like Clay's been, since he got hurt, he's been okay. Like he's had some good games here and there, but I think he's kind of like, you know, he's like, yeah. Like he's pretty good, but he's not like the moments. Clay. Yeah, he's not like gonna get, I don't know, like the Klay Thompson when like against the Thunder and stuff like that's the Clay I hate to bring it up, but like that's the Clay that we kind of remember.
That's the one time you brought something up that affected me like that.
Yeah, it kind of hurts. But I remember that vividly. Like,
I do too.
Clay was handing out buckets, but he doesn't do that anymore. And luckily, he didn't do that against my Lakers, which is what matters. So
lucky you.
Yeah, no. But anyways, like but Clay, I just think he's kind of washed.
Yeah,
I think Draymond is, he has his problems.
And I think
JP.
I would say Jordan Poole is kind of goes ghost, like how you were saying, like super inconsistent, like
down.
Even with the baddies sitting courtside, like it's, I don't know, man, like I don't know what's going on with you, JP, dude. But and that's kind of who they're relying on, even with like James Wiseman. And like
they had to trade, bro. Too. That's another thing too. Like I think you bring up a good point where it's like it's starting to decline is because they've given up on some of they gave up on some of those picks that they were. I think when they used to kind of suck, like when they were out of the playoffs, like they used like 2 years. Yeah, they used those picks on Wiseman and Moody and Kuminga. And like, I don't even think Moody and Kuminga play enough. Honestly, like those guys would get.
Do they deserve to play enough?
Yes. Because I feel like if they go to any other roster, like they're getting minutes. Yeah. And it's just because the core, like you're saying, like Clay, Steph, Dre, like
they're like, we want to play with each other.
Yeah, bro. Like they're gonna always be, having that kind of upper hand, I guess you could say, because they have the pedigree. Yeah.
I mean they're veterans.
Yeah, and they got the championships.
4 championships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like I was gonna say, I feel like also kind of going back to what Zach said, like Curry's finals wins were like Kevin Durant too. Like, let's not forget that. Like, without Kevin Durant, like, there ain't no finals win.
I think this past one is what really solidified Curry being
For Curry, yeah. I was gonna
like,
say
his
this,
legacy. Like
yeah,
him
bro,
doing
like,
that again, it proved a lot to me. I think
Yeah.
that's why I kind of hold him very highly now. Like,
okay,
off
okay,
of
yeah,
this
I guess.
past
Let's not
championship
forget
alone.
about that. Yeah, like against the Celtics,
'cause,
he
like,
really was cooking.
There's definitely an argument for that, you know, like, oh, he had KD and like KD was the Finals MVP, but I feel like him coming out, getting that
a Finals
championship
MVP.
and getting that Finals MVP kind of proved it that like, oh, he
He
can
can
do
do
this
it.
by himself.
That's
like,
true.
Because like really, I mean,
Yeah, he
had-
did it against the best defense in the league last year. Like,
and it wasn't against like, you know, obviously people stepped up, but he was also going crazy.
That's a good question, man. I haven't really thought about. Probably I need to think about that deeper because, again, I'm like a in the closet Curry hater, but I like understand how he's transcended the game. I mean, he even got me to kind of be like, I need a jumper, bro.
Yeah,
I mean, I need one. Like, you gotta have, now I think it's like required to shoot threes. Like,
Really?
even yes.
What do you mean?
Like, basically, if you're a 7-footer now, you have to be able to shoot threes. Like,
Oh, okay.
Jokic can shoot a 3.
For sure.
Embiid can shoot a 3. Like, it's not like you got to be able to kind of be in that avenue where you can actually get to a bucket kind of in the 3 levels of the floor.
Yeah.
Kind of like even with Wembanyama, it's like he's going to be shooting 3s. So, like,
absolutely.
I just feel like Curry's changed that. Like, now you actually
you
have
have it
you
to
have
where-
to.
yeah.
Like, you need somebody who can do that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's because of Steph. So,
yeah, shout out
but
to
yeah,
Steph,
I mean,
man.
yeah, shout out to Steph, man.
And like I think I also just fuck with
sure.
Steph because he kind of like proved that like I mean obviously he's like 6'3", so he's tall, but like he proved like to kids that like, oh, you don't need to be LeBron athletic, you don't
Right.
need to be 7 foot dunking on everyone. Like you
Exactly.
could be shorter and have just skill alone, and you can make it in the league. So
Yep.
I always fucked with that because you know I'm not tall and like I like to shoot threes and like
Yeah.
I always fucked with Curry, bro. And I
Yeah.
like I think it was before when he scored like 50 in the Garden, like MSG, like that was like a vivid moment for me. And like I was like, oh yeah, he's like he made like 10 threes or
yeah,
something.
dude, that game was
man,
man,
bro. Come on,
can't
now.
ever forget about that
Like,
for
that's
sure.
iconic,
Like the
you know?
Draymond, like the,
he
the-
just
running back,
he
yeah,
ran
for
right
sure,
past him, so
100.
I-
I feel like that was the game, bro.
like his coming out moment.
If you didn't know, you knew because you were watching like the day. I knew,
Yeah.
because like he was hitting threes. He'd
Yeah,
been
he'd
doing
been
that.
doing that
Yeah, like
shit.
he got hot that day.
Yeah.
and that's like what kind of set him up, like the world on fire. At least for Curry, I feel like because he did it at MSG.
Yeah,
like he
big
kind of bring up
shine, you
Yeah,
know,
bro, it
star
was
shine the
shining.
brightest,
So
you know?
that's a moment right
Hell yeah,
there,
bro.
for sure. But yeah, man, I don't know. I we'll see if the Warriors dynasty can continue.
Yeah. What do you think? Did you say?
Yeah, I didn't really talk about it much. I don't think I think I kind of texted, I talked about it off camera, but like I don't think it's over just yet. Just because the West is so inconsistent in general. Like, when has the Western Conference in the last few years been like super? But obviously,
year?
besides like the Golden State Warriors coming out of the Western Conference Finals, like the West, I feel like is always up for grabs. Like the 1 seed,
Yeah.
at least like that.
Yeah.
So I feel
the
like
fucking Jazz were 1 seed.
yeah, exactly. So I feel like if the Warriors were able to have a good regular season and get themselves in a 1 seed play and like go the normal route they were doing,
Yeah.
they might get to the finals again.
Really?
Because like I don't think they had that good of a year this year. Like they I think they were a 6 seed.
Yeah.
So like normally they're like a 2, like they're playing a worse team in the playoffs.
For sure.
So like it was a harder route for them this year. That's why I feel like they didn't really get to where they needed to go because they actually made it harder on themselves like 3 months ago during the regular
yeah.
season. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I don't know if people are
Think
thinking
like-
about because
yeah,
like
like,
they
'cause,
were
like,
a
they
high
could play-
seed.
yeah.
They were a high seed a few years ago.
Yeah.
So they were playing the 8th seed every time. So
Yeah.
they're gonna get out of the first round, which
Yeah.
leads to more rest, which leads to better performance. Like all that stuff matters. I just think this year specifically, honestly, Steve Kerr looked a little lost. Like he seemed to be a little out of it. Like he didn't really care too much about it. Like
Yeah.
it just seemed like in his interviews, he seemed really like focused on what the Lakers were doing. And because remember, he was kind of talking about, like the flopping and all that other stuff. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know, bro. Like we'll have to see. I personally don't think it's gonna like it's over or anything. But I
Yeah.
feel like you said, I think it's starting to decline.
It's on the decline. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
bro.
They
That's kind of my take on it.
They wanted to like invest in like their youth and still be a championship
Exactly.
contender, and that's always a hard thing
That's
to do
super
because
hard.
It's like two different things like
Clashing,
colliding. Yeah,
exactly.
You know, so you got to pick one or the other.
100.
especially with that type of team.
Yeah,
you know?
dude, for sure.
Shit, where are these questions at? Okay, I got them.
Okay,
Ready?
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, I mean, you asked this question, and we already talked about it. The playoff before.
Yeah.
We're getting into our fan questions. Actually, I put it on our on the PCT Instagram
IG.
story. Yeah, if you want to go follow us on there, which you should be already.
The at will be somewhere.
At would be right here.
Yeah.
But I posted just a picture of LeBron and KD when they were in
dapping each other up.
Miami and OKC, just dapping
Head-to-head
each other.
battles.
You know what I'm saying? Those wars, you know. So, and I asked just any questions for us, and Alex actually asked part 1.
Okay.
Will Bronny be the superstar everyone thinks he'll be? Thoughts?
That's a good question, bro. What do you think about that?
I don't like. I feel like he will be. Like I haven't really been keeping up with him. Like
He's got to
that.
grow a little bit more.
I don't really like I said, I don't really keep up with like high school hoops too much, so I don't have an opinion. But I feel like he will probably be pretty good.
Okay, I keep up with it a little bit, like probably more than.
Is he a 5-star?
Yeah, for sure. More than like the average person, I would say.
Yeah.
I feel like Bronny's gonna be he's gonna be LeBron James's son. So I don't know if that makes sense, but like I guess I wouldn't expect him to be LeBron James because that's like kind of
Unrealistic.
Yeah, it's unrealistic, and I feel like again, like nowadays with social media and everybody's opinion, like the Brights are like. People are gonna say like, "Oh, you're trying to be like your daddy," like all this other stuff.
Yeah, that's why he changed his name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like Bronny's gonna be Bronny, bro. Like I think he'll be legit as long as he gets to that 6 set. What's up?
What do you think his like ceiling is?
High level all-star, maybe a Hall of Famer.
Like all NBA type player.
Yeah, like if he can have like a long career, and again, like he's LeBron James' son, so he's already like ahead of the curve. Yeah. If he can just be consistent and get to that like all-star level and like have a decent career, like I feel like he could go to the Hall of Fame. Like seriously, because I feel like the NBA would want to endorse like
LeBron James' son.
Yeah, even like it's kind of dumb that it works like that, but like when you're that great, like they're gonna do a lot to to make sure like the NBA is going to do a lot to make sure that stays safe and kind of like sacred. I guess that's the word. And so they want Bronny to be good. I think he'll be okay. Like I said, I think he can be a high level all-star. Like, and if he does that for long enough, you're a Hall of Famer. Yeah, but. We'll have to see, bro. I think his that's a good question, honestly.
Yeah, shout out to Alex.
Yeah, shout out to Alex because I feel like people don't. I guess people don't see the superstars before they're superstars. Like nobody's watched Victor Wembanyama. Like we were talking off camera. It's like you watch a G League game. Like nobody's really watched Bronny unless you're watching like high school hoops, like McDonald's All-American stuff. And so I feel like that those questions are good because like those kids need to get their shine for sure. Oh yeah. But yeah, like I honestly think he'll be pretty good, bro. I feel like he'll be all right.
Part 2, what do y'all like about Bronny's game?
I feel like I like his athleticism, bro. And I like that he's honestly was a better shooter than his dad was. Like coming out of high school, I guess you could say, even though his dad went straight to the NBA. Yeah. Bronny's going to USC, as crazy as that is. Yeah. Like when they were in high school, Bronny definitely has his dad beat on that jumper. For sure. But obviously, his dad had him beat on the athleticism and size. I also feel like Bronny's really he has the intelligent part of it. Like he has his dad's brain. So like he's one step ahead of everybody. He's a really good facilitator. Yeah. Like he seems like every time I've watched a game of his, and like I was watching some of the circuits and I was watching like where he was at, like he seemed like he really wanted to get like the other people involved. Like he knew he could get like 20 or 30 or whatever, but he seemed like he was kind of dishing it out like when he was just on like the EYBL circuit. Yeah, bro, like just like LeBron would. So I think he like those parts of his game I feel like are probably the most highlighted to me, like the facilitating and then the intelligence part, like because I feel like that's kind of what's gonna separate him when he gets to the NBA. And like people may kind of underestimate that part of his game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those like intangibles that like a lot of people don't really think of, Yeah. Like you might not be the biggest, you might not be the strongest, fastest, but like high IQ players, it's it's a very important thing that like it gets overlooked for sure.
Yeah, so I feel like Bronny's like one of those players, and again, like he's had really been around the best trainers for all of his life. Like he'll be straight. He'll get to it.
One more question. Shout out to Lon. He said, Is KD a Hall of Famer despite him jumping teams often? Absolutely. Like, I mean, is it like regardless of like what?
That's a bad question.
Yeah, that's definitely a bad question. But like, I'll definitely answer it for you.
Oh,
Absolutely, bro. Like,
yeah.
KD is
100.
one of the best players, one of the best scorers, and probably players that we've ever seen in this league. Is pretty much
Top
been
10, in my
averaging
opinion.
like 27 for his career, some shit like that.
It's crazy.
MVP, with like 3-time scoring champ.
I would actually even argue too, like he had to like for him to go get that finals ring and like win a couple chips, like that boosted his like I guess his legacy.
Yeah.
Like if he didn't do that, I don't know if people would talk as highly.
I think
of
we
KD.
talked about that last
Yeah,
pod.
bro.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
kind of like how like KD kind of needed to
Go somewhere else.
As like sad as that is, because I know that hurt a lot of people too. That's kind
That
of an
hurt me.
underrated like little thing. There was
That
like,
hurt me
little
for
like
sure.
little sagas when in that like when KD went to the Warriors. I remember when Stephen A. broke that news. But
Yeah.
he's a Hall of Famer, bro. First ballot without a doubt. Like
Yeah,
if he quits
easy.
today, Hall of Famer first ballot. It's 100% of the votes.
Yeah,
like
easy.
nobody's gonna vote against that. Kevin Durant's one of the best scorers, one of the best hoopers of all time. So. Definitely, man. It won't change anything. He's that guy. He's him, bro. Like you said, it's your favorite MVP season. Like,
For sure.
Averaging 27 for his career. Like
Ridiculous, man.
2 Finals MVP.
What the list goes on, man.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
It goes on. Yeah, that honestly, that's a good question for I feel like the casuals.
Yeah, for sure.
Like people who don't.
Because a lot of
know.
people see that he's gone to so many other teams and like, is he really
Right.
good?
Like they kind of just have been watching it
Yeah,
from
like
afar.
casually,
Like they may not
yeah.
know.
But yeah, if you know hoops, like without a doubt, just based off his scoring ability alone, I feel like he would have been Hall of Fame.
Yeah, like the
he-
points.
Yeah, he would have been like one of those
Like,
players
just the
that like
points.
even if he didn't get these rings, like I feel like he probably
would've been
still would have
straight.
been a Hall of
Yeah,
Fame.
like Melo.
type shit. Yeah,
For sure.
like a lot of players, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Barkley.
Potentially.
Yeah. But Zachariah, you said you had a question
Got
for
that
us?
question.
Yeah. So my question, y'all kind of alluded to it earlier, talking about big men like hitting threes and stuff like that. What position, in y'all's opinion, has kind of changed the most recently as far as like requirements to be like a great player in that position?
Man.
I feel like
question.
the center.
Yeah.
Like it went from being 90s, early 2000s, it's more of like, oh, back to the basket, give the ball to him, we're gonna play inside out type of deal. So like pretty much your whole offense just goes around a big man to 2010s, mid 2010s, Steph Curry and the three ball
Yeah, the
kind
three
of
ball.
wiped out a whole like position of being that type of player, because if you have every person on your team that can shoot a three and you have a traditional big man that is a back to the basket, not very quick laterally, you're going to torch him all the time. That's
Yeah.
why you saw the Houston Rockets playing with PJ Tucker as their center and he's like 6'6", you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like basketball in general kind of became positionless, but I feel like the center kind of died in like the mid 2010s, and then now it's kind of it's a resurgence because of Jokic and Embiid, and they have even like Cat to an extent if he could actually go.
I was
out
about
there.
to say Cat. Yeah.
Yeah, like those type of players,
Stretch fours, like
a stretch
five.
five
Yeah,
that
like
can
stretch five.
beat you off a dribble, pass it when they need to.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's kind of becoming like that now, but I think it's just one of those things where like basketball just is positionless now, so it's kind of hard to like say which one exactly, but I think the center got affected the most because you look back at all those teams that were winning championships, they had a good center.
Yeah,
that,
they had
like,
dominant big men.
dominant big men,
Yeah.
Shaq and
Of
like,
course.
those
Hakeem, yeah.
Hakeem, like
Yeah.
in the 90s, like that was what they were wanting to draft was a center. Even like Duncan, Robinson, you know what I mean? Like they had all these big men, and then it kind of turned out, you said, into a guards like a
League,
a
yeah,
guards league,
for sure.
Curry,
Yeah.
even LeBron and
Kyrie.
like
Just
so,
I think for me, it's the forward position.
forward,
Yeah,
power
because
forward.
like I would even argue like Giannis is a forward.
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So
I
like,
would say so.
So like, I guess for me, it's the hybrid fours. Like the forward position has changed the most. I feel like to me personally, like CJ was kind of saying, like I'm only 21, so I've only kind of seen like a few decades of hoops. But like when I was younger, I remember like I think like like I remember small forward kind of being like they would put somebody in the game and like he wouldn't be able to score. Like he would just be defending. Or like he would just be good at one thing. And I feel like now, like as the game's kind of transitioned to like the 2010s, like obviously the 2020s, like those guys that are playing 4, like they're bringing up the ball now. They're shooting from half court. They're doing all that crazy
dunking
stuff.
on everybody.
So I feel like people are looking for those like hybrids, and I feel like that kind of ties into the center position. Like they need a player that can kind of do more than just like
a traditional,
traditional like 5. Like they're looking for players that are like honestly pretty big in size. So like I'm saying, like a power forward, like any forward position or like center,
like
and then
6'8" and above.
Yeah, exactly. And then people that can do things at all 3 levels. So like score, pass, like obviously have good finishing, all that good stuff. Like so I think honestly for me it's probably the forward position. And like I feel like so like we got forwards playing point now. Like Luka Doncic is like 6'8" and like he plays point guard.
Yeah, he's technically a small forward.
Yeah,
but he's a point
exactly.
guard.
Like some of those guys, like we're literally having like forwards transition into being like point guards.
Yeah.
And so like CJ's saying, it's kind of positionless, but I would say for me, I've seen like that position change the most, where I'm like, oh dang, like I remember when a small forward was not bringing the ball up, but
like they were out there to defend.
Yeah, like they're out there to like get rebounds or like
maybe pass.
Yeah, like be a good passer, like just good at one thing. But now like every GM is looking for those Swiss Army knife type of players where like they're usually big in size and they can do a lot of different things on the court. So for me, it's got to be that forward position.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That was a great question. Hell yeah,
that's a great question.
Thank you, Zachariah.
Thank you. But I think that's.
I would say, was there anything else that you would like to say or? Any last remarks?
Nah, just like it's been a joy. Like I really like this one. This one's been cool, man. We got some good stuff on here.
Oh hell yeah.
I'm excited to do the next one. I think we're gonna get back to this game 7. It's 45-59 right now. Heat. So they're up big.
59-45.
Yeah, 59-45 Heat.
9 minutes left in the
so
third.
We'll see. I mean, man. I think next episode we'll kind of have the recap on this, and then we'll be in the finals, obviously, which is really exciting.
That'll be a cool episode because we could do like great favorite finals moments.
Yeah, for sure. We can do like finals.
Because we talked about playoff moments of this one, but now like I
feel like we've been talking about playoff stuff, but now like
it's like finals.
If it's the finals, I think always when we do the pod, if it's the finals, it'll just be kind of like final stuff. Because that's a big deal in the NBA. And then obviously as the offseason goes on, we'll do some different more stuff. But yeah, just excited for the next one, bro.
Oh yeah, man.
It's been a joy, obviously.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all for listening and watching to the podcast. Really do appreciate every one of y'all. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, rate us 5 stars on all streaming platforms. And don't forget to keep up with all our social medias. Will be in the description. We really do appreciate y'all.
Yeah, of course.
Have a great night and enjoy these hoops, man.
Yeah.
Like, y'all are witnessing history right now with all these playoff performances lately.
And
for real.
like I said earlier, it's like try to catch a game in a different way, man. If you in the car, listen on the radio. Like you don't always got to watch to catch the game. So like there's a little way you can play with your imagination. So man, we're definitely excited to do the next episode.
Yeah, man. And we'll see y'all next time. Peace.